But I really love that character. But I think, aren't they doing something now with...
Well, they are, but
Fantastic
as you well
Four,
know,
I mean,
in the multiverse, all bets, you can have 6 different Johnny Storms.
Yeah, I guess that's true. I mean, I guess all bets are off. Yeah, look, I would love it. I would love it. That would actually be an easier sell to me than coming back as Cap. You know what I mean?
What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Cosmic Wonder. I'm Warren Thompson, and today we have some really interesting and exciting news about Chris Evans possibly making his return to the MCU. And what's interesting is that he could return to the MCU, but not as Captain America. Of course, that is on the table, but in a couple of recent interviews, one being today where he was asked about himself returning as Captain America, he was also asked before about returning as Johnny Storm, in which he said he would love to. And if the rumors going around about Johnny Storm returning in some particular movies are true, it does indeed look like we'll see Chris Evans back in the MCU, even if it's not as Captain America. However, this morning in an interview with Good Morning America, he did talk about maybe returning as Cap and kind of what that would take for him. And honestly, it gives us hope that he could return to the MCU for both roles. And just imagine what that would be like on screen to actually see. Just imagine a big portal scene like we got in Avengers Endgame happening in Avengers Secret Wars. Big portals from other universes open up and a bunch of different variants come through them, all arriving on one world. It could be a battle world like in the comics, and out comes Johnny Storm from one portal and then Captain America from another, both played by Chris Evans. That is pretty much exactly what we want from Avengers Secret Wars. Old characters coming back and meeting variants of themselves, and then fighting alongside our current heroes that we have in the main MCU. Well, based off of what Chris Evans has said in some recent interviews, one being this morning, this is entirely possible. And Chris Evans is actually down to do this. We'll break the whole thing down, and if you love Marvel, be sure to subscribe to stay up to date. And also, if you subscribe and comment on our videos, you enter our giveaway for a chance to win a lot of cool stuff, including a PS5, Xbox Series X, and more. We'll pick a winner at the end of each month. So first, let's break down what Chris Evans said in his interview with Good Morning America this morning, talking about possibly returning as Captain America in the MCU, then dive into when he spoke about returning as the Human Torch. And then we'll dive into where Johnny Storm or Captain America could show up besides Secret Wars, because we obviously know that that's possible. So Chris Evans went on Good Morning America this morning to talk about his upcoming film that he stars in, Ghosted. And the first thing that he says is that there are some Marvel cameos in his upcoming movie.
Drip like that.
Marvel fans are going to be happy. Here are some cameos.
There are some cameos. That's right. Can we give that away? I guess. Yeah, we had some old Marvel buddies back, and you know, I hate asking people for cameos. It's such a it's the worst.
But don't people like doing it?
You know, if it fits into their schedule, I suppose. But these guys, they rose to the challenge and they were there for me. It was great.
So if you're interested in his new movie Ghosted, there are going to be some cameos from some old Marvel actors, possibly even some current Marvel actors, maybe Mark Ruffalo, maybe Chris Hemsworth. We'll have to wait and see on that. But the cool takeaway here is that he does consistently keep in touch with his old Marvel buddies. And then he goes on to talk about possibly returning as Captain America.
Are you going to pick up the shield again as Captain America?
Oh man, you know, as much as I would love to. I mean, that was such a special time in my life. I'm very precious with the character. That's the problem. I'm so protective of it. To come back, it would have to be for the right reasons and the right timing. It feels a little too soon. You know, Anthony Mackie is Captain America right now. There's other stories to tell. For now, we ended on such a good note.
Yeah,
I would be too worried about tarnishing that.
So what's interesting here is that Chris Evans, let's say, concerns are basically what concerns that Hugh Jackman had and Patrick Stewart had. Patrick Stewart said he wouldn't return as Professor Xavier because he wouldn't want to undo what happened in Logan, his death, the ending. And Hugh Jackman said the same thing, that he said goodbye to his character in Logan with that character's death. However, look where we are now. Patrick Stewart returned in Multiverse of Madness, and Hugh Jackman has confirmed himself, as we all know, that he is returning as the Wolverine. And why are they returning? Because they are playing kind of different variants of themselves, so the events that happened in Logan won't be affected by these new appearances in the MCU at all. So basically, Marvel told them about the multiverse, what all it meant, how variants are different, their stories are different, and Hugh Jackman and Patrick Stewart said, oh, okay, as long as it doesn't undo what happened before, I'm game. And that's pretty much exactly what Chris Evans just said. Well, one, he said that he would love to come back, but two, he is very protective of the character. However, he feels that it's too soon, and they ended on such a good note, he would be afraid of tarnishing the character. Well, that's exactly what the other two were afraid of, but the multiverse makes everything possible. Plus, Secret Wars is years away down the road, so hopefully enough time would have passed for Chris Evans to say, okay, this isn't going to affect my Captain America legacy, and enough time has passed, I can make a cameo as Captain America in Secret Wars. But let's also talk about when he said he would love to make a cameo as the Human Torch. He said this last year about returning as the Human Torch in an interview with MTV.
But here's my question.
Sure.
There were a lot of rumors that like you could come back in the multiverse as another Marvel character you played, Johnny Storm.
God,
Did they
wouldn't
ever
that be
come to
great?
you?
Wouldn't that
Would that
be
have
great?
intrigued you? Like,
No, no one's ever come to me about that. I mean, I don't exactly look the same anymore. I was 15, almost 20 years ago. Oh my God, I'm old. But I really love that character. But I think, aren't they doing something now with...
well, they are. But as
Fantastic
you well
Four,
know,
I mean-
in the multiverse, all bets, you can have 6 different Johnny Storms.
Yeah, I guess that's true. I mean, I guess all bets are off. Yeah, look, I would love it. I would love it. That would actually be an easier sell to me than coming back as Cap. You know what I mean? Cap is
Right.
so precious to me, and you know, I almost don't want to disrupt what a beautiful experience that was. But Johnny Storm, I feel like he didn't really get his day. That was before Marvel really found its footing. So you know, I loved that role, and you know, who knows?
So Chris Evans literally said that it would be an easier sell for him to come back as the Human Torch rather than to come back as Captain America. And if you've been following the channel and following all the news recently, you've heard the rumor that Chris Evans and the entire original Fantastic Four have a good chance at returning in Deadpool 3. The rumor for Deadpool 3 is that Deadpool and Hugh Jackman's Wolverine are going to be visiting other universes. This is basically going to be a giant multiverse road trip with Wolverine and Deadpool, and one of the universes that they're going to go into is the old Fantastic Four Fox universe. Now, it's also rumored that they're going to see the original X-Men as well, so this could be the same universe that the X-Men are in, or it could simply be two separate universes. They go to one, they see the Fantastic Four, they go to a different one, they see the X-Men. But this could be where it all happens in Deadpool 3. This is where Chris Evans could officially return as the Human Torch and finally have that character in the MCU. It's what a lot of the original actors for the Marvel movies really wanted. Now, Chris Evans is different because obviously he played Captain America in the MCU, so he's been in the MCU. However, the rest of the Fantastic Four haven't. The same thing goes with the old X-Men characters. They have not been in the MCU, so the actors want to return just so they can finally take part in it, which was one thing that Hugh Jackman said before he made his return as Wolverine, that he wished he could have made it into the MCU. And I'm sure a lot of those original X-Men actors feel the same way, which is why we are probably getting them back. We've had many reports state that they are coming back in Deadpool 3 and then again in Secret Wars. But keep in mind, we have heard that the movies and the shows that happen after Kang Dynasty, they are all going to take place in the multiverse. So whatever movies and shows that we get in between Kang Dynasty and Secret Wars, those could be movies and shows that take place in other universes. They show the other universes fighting Kang, and then in Secret Wars, all of the universes come together. And this is honestly a great idea because one, you don't have to cram everything into Secret Wars, and two, it makes us a lot more emotionally invested in these other universes and the characters that are in these universes. That way, when they appear on screen, we're actually invested in them and we care if they die or not. So I think it's actually kind of likely that Chris Evans does return as the Human Torch in Deadpool 3, simply based on what they're trying to do with the story of Deadpool 3. And then of course, there's the possibility that he could appear anywhere in between the Kang Dynasty and then of course in Secret Wars. And I think as far as him returning as Captain America goes, he definitely wants to return. He's open to returning as long as enough time passes by and the story is okay, which makes Secret Wars perfect because he can play a different variant of himself. He's not coming back as the same Captain America, but a new one from a different universe, and perhaps he could even have a different attitude, which I think would also be exciting for him as an actor. But the main thing is, Chris Evans is open to returning as both the Human Torch and Captain America, and I hope we get that scene in Secret Wars when they both appear and they both interact with each other. Maybe even have a funny scene where Captain America goes, "Why did you get superpowers and I ended up as Captain America? What went different? Why do we look exactly the same?" I can't wait for this. I hope something like this happens, and I hope he returns as both characters. But let us know your thoughts about this in the comments down below. Don't forget to like the video and subscribe and leave a comment so you can enter our giveaway. You can also follow us on Instagram and Twitter. And as always, thank you all so much for watching. Woof woof.